All right, so thank you for joining us and thank you for taking out time to come for our inaugural meetup. I'm going to be taking us on what TechStylers is all about. This is our first meetup together as ladies in tech, and we're going to talk about, okay, what's TechStylers, what are the benefits of being active in the community of TechStylers, and what are the things we're going to look at and focus on. So, and the whole objective is getting more women into tech. Our agenda for today, we're going to start off with me talking about TechStylers, and we're going to hand off to Donna. She's going to speak to us about running our business with the Power Platform. Sarah is going to tell us how to level up our careers in tech. Georgia is going to tell us about her story, how she started off with the Power Platform and how far she has gone with it. And Alison is going to tell you how to get started with the Power Platform. So some of us may be hearing the whole Power Platform thing for the first time. So she's going to tell us all about how to get started with it. And Abigail is going to tell us to stop self-sabotaging, ask questions. And we're going to round up with Eliza, who's going to tell us how to contribute to the Microsoft community. She has done a lot of that and has been very successful at it. So she's going to give us some tips and secrets on her success story. So we're going to have a great time, and I really look forward to this. And I'm sure we all do also. So the flow is, we're going to take questions at the end, so we don't spend too much time. So if you have any questions, after each session, you can drop it in the comment box. And at the end of the last session, we'll just take all the questions together. So this is about me. I'm passionate about technology. I found a new love in the Power Platform, and I've been totally sold out to it. And I work for Sterling Bank, and I basically just do everything that makes life easier for employees. And I'm also very active in our community, our Nigeria Power Apps user group, where we just support each other and have sessions to teach one another how to get better at using the Power Platform. So I'm also very active there. Now, about TechStylers. TechStylers is a female community that is focused on supporting women to succeed in the tech space. Now, just to clear the air, we're not competing with the men, right? It's not a competition. However, since I started my community work a couple of months back, I noticed that the female representation is really low in community. For example, if we're going to have a community event and we want speakers, we do a call for speakers. 90% of people that respond are men. If we want to have a meetup and we ask some ladies to even speak, most of them say, no, I'm not speaking. So we have a lot of this type of things coming up. So we just felt, okay, let's create a platform where it's all ladies, right? So it's okay if you don't know something and you're not feeling shy about it. I mean, we're all the same. We're all wired the same way. So it's okay to say, I don't know this. And then we'll support you or find someone who is the expert in that area to support you. So that's what the TechStylers community is going to be all about. We're all going to support each other to succeed in technology. We have some ladies that are currently in the old technology. They are currently doing tech stuff that are old and phasing out already, and they would like to start to do tech stuff in emerging technology. There are also some ladies that have not started at all. They have this desire, oh, I love technology, I want to know about it, but how do I get started? I have no clue. So we plan to support those type of ladies. Then we have those that are already experienced, they have their career path set, but they also would like to learn, the other female professionals. And then, so these women who are established and are doing very well will have the opportunity to empower and mentor other younger ladies who have the desire to get started in technology. So what are the benefits of TechStylers? What's the benefit of being associated to this community of women in technology? One of the first benefits is they're going to have increased visibility and your confidence level is going to grow. A lot of ladies have their confidence level is really low, right? Some of them actually know the stuff very well, but they just feel, oh, if I come to say, oh, I want to do a demo or I want to speak at an event, am I sure I'm going to know what to say? Am I sure I won't be laughed at? So the purpose of TechStylers is to increase your confidence level and to increase your visibility. And we have a lot of plans in stock on how we're going to get that done. Then career path mapping, right? You're not sure of how exactly am I going to get to a certain point I want to get to. Like everything is just fuzzy and I have no clear direction on how I'm going to grow. I don't have a clear plan. So that's part of what we're going to do. And we're going to have job opportunities and intern opportunities for the members of this community that are active. And there will be there are a lot of international women conferences out there, which you can also attend both in person and virtually as an active member of TechStylers. Yes, and we have free trainings, free seminars. So we're going to be we're going to be training, and it's going to be at no cost based on whatever interests, tech skill that you're interested in. We're going to run all those trainings at no cost. And then you have mentorship. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of women that filled our registration form and said, yes, I'm established and I would like to mentor other ladies that have interest in technology. So TechStylers is going to be a platform where we're going to enable that and get that done. And then also we'll have a lot of freebies. Like today, sent out the mail about a free gift that we're going to get. We're going to have a lot of freebies like what we're going to get today, which is a gift given to us from one of our MVPs here in Nigeria, Olajide-Bello. Like I mentioned before, it's not a competition, but we have a lot of men out there that are very active and happy to support this cause. For example, the TechStylers logo was designed by Samuel in Ghana, the Power Platform User Group Lead of Ghana, and the freebie was given to us by another MVP here in Nigeria. So they can see that the female representation is low, and they're actually ready to support us in any way that they can. So what are our tech focus areas? We're going to be looking at technology that speaks to modern workplace. With the advent of COVID-19, we all know that remote work is here and it's here to stay. We've seen a lot of articles that said, oh, major Fortune 500 companies are telling their employees to actually stay at home to the end of the year. So you as a tech person, if you have skills in this area, you know that you are actually in a space that is value, that is going to give value, and is going to, wherever you are, you're going to carry value, and that's a big addition to you. We're going to look at artificial intelligence, automation, data and analytics, enterprise solutions. So enterprise solutions speak to things like everything on Dynamics platform, the Dynamics CRM, finance, ops, HR. All these are very big enterprise solutions that if you know how to use any of this, you're going to be hot cake. Like the knowledge will literally transform you and transform your life. Yes. So then also we have cloud computing. We all know that we're in a cloud first world. Everything is going to the cloud, right? No one's talking about, oh, we want to buy 100 servers anymore. Everybody wants to go to the cloud. And then we're going to look at UI UX designing and apps development. So these are the core tech focus areas that we have now, and it's going to grow as we continue to grow. For now, these are our areas, and we would engage further. We're going to engage further with everyone as part of this community, starting off with an overview on all of these areas. So for those of us that are just coming in and not sure where we want to settle in, we would have these various areas, and you can select which of them you would like to get more skilled in. And then we can have technical sessions, focus sessions on each of the areas where we call you up, and then you can you can join subgroups that are focused on those different areas. So for continuous engagements, because we're just starting off, so there's a lot of engagement that's going to go on after today. You can join. This is the link to our Telegram group. I'm going to drop it on the chat for us to join. And then you can also follow us on our Twitter handle. Thank you. So if you have any questions for me, please drop it in the comment box. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Donna.
Hello, thank you so much. Thanks, Foyen. By the way, Foyen is a hero, and I'm going to be talking about her in my presentation because I love Foyen. And we should all love Foyen because she actually doesn't have to do this because she's got a job, she's got a family, she's got a local community, she's got a global community, and now she's like, every woman in the world should have the skills that, you know, us speakers do. So Foyen is the wonderful person making this happen. So thank you. I'm trying to find my PowerPoint, so that's going well. I am like, where is it? It's one of these. It's one of these. Ah, Foyen's in my chat. So can you see this? No, you can't. I'm going to share my desktop. Hang on. You'd think I know how to use tech by now. Where is sharing desktop? Desktop. Okay, can we see that?
Yep, we good.
All right. All right, so first of all, in the chat, chime in with how many of you have heard of the Power Platform. Just chime in in the chat. And if you have not heard about Power Platform, that is just fine, because up until about a year ago, I'd never heard about Power Platform either. And then something very, very terrible happened. I'd love for everyone to meet Shamal. Shamal is, he is my father and he's my best friend. And he has been at Ford Motor Company, which makes cars. It was the first company to make cars for 30 years. And he works on the factory floor. So his job is to look at these cars when they come off the factory floor and make sure that they are stamped correctly with Ford logos and emblems. They have a bunch of like, you know, this kind of metal goes on the front, on the bumper and car stuff, I don't know. And as of last July, about a year ago, he was laid off. So Ford did a massive restructuring and laid off about 10,000 people. Anyone who did not have tech skills, meaning making skills, code skills, were asked to leave and find new jobs. And they said anyone who is left will be expected to work on autonomous vehicles, so self-driving cars. Now, my father's a wonderful guy. He's very smart. He's very savvy, but he doesn't know anything about technology, like almost nothing. He knows how to check mail and send texts, and that's about it. So I realized this is a problem that probably a billion people in the world have, where their jobs are disappearing and their companies are expecting them to become technical. So when this happened, I realized that how much tech has enabled my life and how lucky I have been. So I am a software engineer at Microsoft. I've worked on Windows for about 14 and a half years. It's going to be 15 years on June 25th. I spent a bunch of time working on HoloLens, so you'll hear me talk about mixed reality a lot. I spend a ton of time in Nigeria, by the way. So that picture, the first one, is of me helping a Nigerian entrepreneur named Yeshua use HoloLens to put solar power stations on top of churches and schools and farms, so they can have power even when the electricity goes out in Nigeria, as it often does. I'm also a published author, and tech has enabled me to have the income to be an author randomly on the side. I'm, of course, a speaker. I'm speaking to you today. And recently, I started my own fashion company called Prima Donna. So that's what I'd like to share with you today. So a year ago, I decided that I was going to start my own fashion company. I'd learned to sew about 7 years ago, and I made my own clothes for years and years and years. And I went to Lagos, Nigeria, 4 years ago, and we were invited to an event. Of course, we as Microsoft nerds show up with a bunch of t-shirts and jeans, and that's it. And the person who invited us said, "This is at the VP's house, so you need to wear something nicer." And we're like, "VP of what?" And they said, "The country." We said, "Oh, the VP of the country. We can't go like this." And they said, "No." So we said, "What do?" We said, "Okay, we're gonna the person hosting us said, you're going to get something made. And we said, oh, okay, we're going to get something made. What does that mean? So it turns out Nigeria is very good for markets full of fabric. And my entire team nominated me. They said, you're the fashion designer. You make all your own clothes. You go to the market and you make clothes for all of us. And I said, okay. So I was accompanied to Lekki Market. I chose Ankara. I haggled. I overpaid. I don't care. And I sat with the tailor for 2 days and I made all of our outfits. And we looked amazing, just saying. So we wore these outfits in Nigeria. We brought them back to Seattle. We wore them. And random people would come up to all of us and say, where did you get this? This is amazing. So all of my colleagues who I'd made these things for said, you should probably do this as a business. So I did. I launched Prima Donna. I use so much tech to run this business because I do have a full-time job. So how do you run a business and do a full-time job? You use tech as your #1 assistant. So I have a chatbot who answers all of my questions made in Power Platform. I track all of my sales data using Power BI. My team of people who work with me on this, my tailors and all of that, we collaborate inside a Power App on how much inventory we have. And I do this demo end to end in an hour. I'd be happy to share with you next time I do it. But this has completely changed the way I think about running a business. It's no longer some huge manual process. I use technology as my assistant to do my job. Last week at Build, we unveiled our hoodies. I'm wearing one right now. These are tailored in Johannesburg. And what is so fascinating is I can just repeat the process I use to work with these tailors who are going to be doing this work. I've set up a Teams. I've added the tailors as guests. And we are collaborating on how to design these hoodies using Power Apps and a bunch of random mixed reality stuff within Teams. These are people who don't use technology at all, but they're finding it very easy to collaborate with me to design and make these hoodies. So why am I telling you this? It's because long-standing I've had this mission that everyone in the world should learn coding because they will transform their lives as mine has been transformed. And I realize how lucky I am. And, you know, it's so unexpected that someone like me from the poorest city in the US is called Detroit, Michigan, and that's where I grew up. My classmates did not manage to leave Detroit. Many of them are in jail. Many of them are in a lot of trouble right now. So I've always believed that everyone in the world should have the opportunity to learn coding. Now, practically speaking, that's not going to happen because the world is not set up that way. People don't have internet access. People don't have the opportunity to go to school. People don't have the time. They need to make an income. So I was so intrigued to hear about this thing called a Power Platform, which enables anyone in the world to build apps, build websites, build chatbots to solve their own business problems. So instead of everyone in the world learning to code, why not everyone in the world learning to build and make? So we started a global movement called Less Code, More Power. With using less code, we have more power and we can build all the things we need to achieve whatever business goals we have. I'm not going to deep dive into Power Platform right now because that will take 1 hour and I'll talk about it forever. But there are 4 main things that you see that you can use. One is Power Apps, of course, which are low-code apps that are for iOS and Android phones. You can use them to build an iOS app, an Android app, a Teams app with just like a few clicks and solve your own problems. You don't need to go get a computer science degree. You don't need to learn app development. Power Automate is this magical underlying thing where it connects things together. It automates away all kinds of work. It makes you look really smart to your boss. Power Virtual Agents is an automatic chatbot. This is a chatbot that you can derive from anything. My favorite party trick is taking an FAQ page, like a frequently asked questions, and turning it into a chatbot. Again, 3 clicks. And Power BI gives you business analytics. So this helps you tell you how many customers you have, what are your sales numbers look like, what does your customer usage look like. They all run on top of a whole bunch of data connectors that connect to whatever data source you have. But also we have a central data store that you can use called Common Data Service, where it's a relational database that is secure, it's private, it's very well organized. AI Builder is this kind of cool, awesome thing that lets you act like you have a machine learning degree without actually having to get one. I have dyslexia, so I'm not getting a machine learning degree, but it lets you do these magic tricks that I would love to show you today. The superpower, though, of Microsoft Power Platform community is not the tech, it's the community. We have actually way over 1.4 million community members. I think we have like 3 million plus community members all over the world, most countries of the world. We have a lot of people in the world who care about this. We have more than 91,000 user groups at this point. There are power addicts, as they call themselves, everywhere. And the speakers on this call are all power addicts. And we hope that by the end of today, you join us. So I'd like to call out specific people. I met Foyen in November and maybe December, and I was so blown away by what she'd done. And she is a very modest person who will not tell you, but she decided that it's not enough that she has upskilled herself. She worked in the IT department, digital transformation department at Sterling Bank in Lagos, Nigeria. And she realized there's some dumb things this company does, like store their information around moving money from a bank vault to an ATM. They write it in an Excel spreadsheet. And at the end of the week, people collate these and make sure no math went wrong. Of course, this is a horrible idea. It never works. So she made a power app out of it and deployed it to all the bank branches, 176 bank branches. Suddenly, we've reduced the time that Sterling Bank spends by ridiculous percent, 60 hours a week. Foyen's boss says, "You are awesome, keep doing this." Foyen makes, 6-10 power apps. And she said, it's not good enough that I am learning these skills. I think everyone in my company should learn these skills. So she works with HR and starts a thing called the Citizen Developers Academy. And since she started in January of this year, so, like 4 or 5 months ago, she's already skilled, 70 people. And these are not technical people. These are people who are not computer scientists. They're not IT people. They all learned Power Platform to solve their own problems. She has everyone to solve their own problems, HR, legal, finance. And that is amazing. But that's not enough. Foyen says, I have upskilled myself. I have upskilled my company. But now I'm going to upskill my country. So Foyen decided she's going to start the Nigeria Power Platform user group. Day 1, it's her and some random dude. Day 2, it's her, random dude, and 50 other people. And by day, I mean like month 1, month 2. By the time I went to see them in November, December, it was 150 people. And as of February 15th, she put on an event with 250 people physically present, learning to build Power Platform projects in one room. Now they're over 300. And I'm pretty sure all of you who are in Nigeria are going to join her because it is extraordinary what she has done. She is probably one of my favorite stories from the community, who single-handedly decided to take a stand and decided to upskill her country. And now she's decided to upskill every woman in the world because that is the kind of person Foyen is. Next, I know Hemantika on the call, and Hemantika, I talk about you all the time. Hemantika is a student. She's in India. She was, like many students in India, learning from home. She joined in a chat I did in April, and she learned about Power Apps and how to build a Power App. I give everyone homework. She did the homework. Then she made her own Power App to track COVID cases in where she lives in her city. And I thought that was so extraordinary. She did this in 24 hours. It's not like she did this in a month, but she took a technology, did the tutorial, and then applied it to something in her life. And as of last week, she spoke at our annual developer conference called Build. And I thought that was so freaking cool because she is such an inspiration, not just to me, but to people all around the world. Third, Rita. Rita's another one who is a new addition to the Power Platform family, but she comes from such an interesting background because she is an Android dev. She's been doing Android development for over 2 years. And what I thought was so interesting was Rita learned Power Platform, said, I can build now an Android app in like 5 minutes. And I can use it to do so many things. About 30 minutes ago, Rita did a demo for a whole bunch of students on how to use mixed reality in Power Apps. So she set up Power Apps to be able to measure something on a table. And it was amazing and extraordinary for someone who's learned it last month. So the people who are doing the thing out there is not Microsoft. We are not the ones doing the thing. It's every single one of you. Every one of these pictures, it's the Nigeria user group. Every single one of you are out there making a difference in the world. And the reach you have is so much greater than the reach Microsoft people can ever have. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for investing in yourself today. If you have aspirations to start your own business, be an entrepreneur, be better at your job, you've reached the right place. There's homework, because it's me and there's always homework. Total beginners, I'm sure all of you can do this if you haven't. Do that URL. Just take a picture of the slide, take a screenshot, whatever, do it now. If you are not a total beginner and you want to know what to do next, do aka.ms Power Academy. This, by the way, is blatantly stolen from Foyen. She's made her Citizen Devs Academy, so I stole it and put it on my blog because it's such a good curriculum. And I said, why not everyone use this? Yay. And I love stories. I love stories of all of you who are going out there and using Power to change your lives and communities. So tell me your stories because you will end up in slides. Going to do a tech demo, but I'm not going to because that will take way too long. But thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for investing in yourself. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing sharing your experience with us and basically helping us to see the value of tech. I, as a person, technology has completely transformed my life, and that's one of the things that is driving me, because I know that once you know how to solve problems using technology, the sky is just a starting point. And that's why I want to encourage all the ladies. You know, a lot of ladies, we don't like to push beyond our limits. We give up too quickly, and I think that the Power Platform is a great place to start off because you don't have to face the headache of learning how to code if you don't know how to. And you can build fantastic apps, automate a lot of manual processes, build your own bots, and basically everything that you mentioned. So thank you once again. All right, so if you have any questions for Donna, please drop in the chat box. I'm going to collect all the questions and answer them right after all the speakers are done. Up next is our very own Sarah. Sarah is so amazing. She was the one who created our ads that looked so pretty. Everyone who saw it was like, wow, this is nice. And she did it within such a short notice. And I really want to say thank you to her right now in front of everyone. Thank you so much, Sarah. We appreciate you so much. Okay, over to you.
Thanks so much, Ryan. That's so kind for you to say. And Donna, that was an amazing session. You know, so many amazing messages there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. So hopefully you will see my screen. So what I'm going to be really sharing with you today is going to be really how to level up your career in technology. And I appreciate that some of you may not even have a career in technology as well, and there's going to be some amazing sessions, you know, similar to Donna's that introduce, you know, this amazing thing called the Power Platform, all of the technologies that are inside of it as well. But my session really focuses on what I kind of see working together with technology, and that is like your soft skills. So this is really how you present those skills in technology. So hopefully you'll find it of value. Just so you know who's talking at you for the next 15 minutes, hopefully 15 minutes. I have a knack for, I'm just checking my phone because I have a knack for like not stopping talking, which is perhaps a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But from my skill set, so I'm currently lead architect at a large Microsoft partner. And one of the things that I do is I interview people. And I've done this in the past few jobs that I've had. And one of the things that I can tell you straight as a truth that I 100% believe is true is the thing that doesn't stop people getting jobs is generally their ability to learn. It's actually the ability to, like, their soft skills, their ability to present themselves, their ability kind of from a character perspective. And this is why I wanted to do this session. This is really how to level up your career in tech when I'm not actually going to give you any technology tips at all. These are all going to be tips that are structured around helping your career, and there's over 40 people on the call today, and you can do these right now. So I'm pretty much going to be covering, there's nine of them that I'm going to be talking about today, and I'm going to be covering 3 things for each of them. What actually is it? Like, what am I talking about? Why you should really care about it, and how you can do it like right now. So it's something, you know, don't put it off. It's something that like on the Less Code More Power show that Donna and I do, we are very passionate about making sure that there's no excuses here. So don't say, yeah, I'm going to diarize that for like next week and perhaps do that. Use this time as you're watching this session to start, pick 3 of them, which you'll see shortly, and go ahead and try them out. So this is fairly easy on how you do this, right? So I've even kind of come up with a bit of a game on how you can do these 3. So you can see that there's 9 kind of tips I'm going to be talking to you about today. And what you can pretty much do is just try and pretty much play this game. So pretty much go from left to right and pick 3. I'm not expecting you to do all 9 because that would be crazy and a little bit unfair of me, but pick 3. So after the 15 minutes, you should have some kind of idea of which 3 you want to go ahead and do. But if you can, try and go from left to right. So you kind of pick, I've put them strategically in certain places, so you get a really good mix of skills in terms of what you want to work on today. So let's get started. So in terms of this is a really interesting one, right? Because be aware of your own narrative, and it's similar to what Donna said in her session, is that stories are amazing and stories are so powerful, and they show that what we think is impossible is actually possible. That's what I love about stories. We should all be in the story business. But the actual fact is we all actually have a story going on in our minds. And that story is what I refer to as your own narrative, right? It's how you describe things. It's how you talk to yourself as well. And you actually probably, some people aren't aware of it. So, you know, this is how you get like low confidence. This is how you talk yourself out of actually doing amazing things. And one of the things that I want you to do is actually listen. It's about listening to how you're talking to yourself. So sometimes, like, kind of if I'm having a bad day, I'll be like, God's sake, Sarah, like, why the hell are you doing that? That's stupid. And that's not a good thing. Like, that's not good, because like what that's going to do is it's going to start to bring you down and down and down. And it's really not going to help you from a confidence perspective. So, you know, and what you can do from this is then when you're obviously in this zone, it then has a huge impact on everyone around you. It has a huge impact on you and your career and these opportunities that are actually there, you know, straight in front of you. But because of your own narrative and how you talk to yourself, you could actually like talk yourself out of them. So the ask here is, if you pick this one to go ahead and work on, is take a moment. Like, this isn't difficult. Just take a moment to listen to how you talk to yourself, and especially on days when you're probably a bit like stressed out, like as in maybe you've got a load of meetings, maybe someone's like annoying the hell out of you. Just maybe take a breath and just say, you know, like, listen to yourself, because that's not you in your head, right? You've got to think, how am I talking to myself? So that's the first one. So we've done one. So you can go ahead, and if you want to pick that one, that is on the left hand side as well. So the next one is, don't be a sheep. this one's a funny one. And it's just because I see so many people choose not to do things because it's never been done before. And the thing is, like, just because something actually hasn't ever been done doesn't mean that it won't add value. So what I mean here is, I'm from the UK, and we love queuing in the UK. So we love pretty much just lining up, just following. And you'll find this scenario, this happens very regularly. So regardless of what's actually going on, and if you should be queuing, you'll find that if a new person arrives on the scene, they'll just go into a line. Like, they don't even know what they're lining up for. They'll just go into a line. And I don't know if that's like just part of our inherent, like, who we are as human beings, that some people just like to just go ahead and queue up. And what I'm asking you to do is to not do that, especially from a career perspective, is that, you know, I'm not saying, you know, boycott the queues or anything like that. It's just more about saying, be aware of what you're doing and why. Like, if you don't know why you're queuing up or why you're doing something, then kind of question that. And the thing is, every single one of you on the call today will have likely had and I'll probably bet money on this, I'm not a betting person, a great idea that you've not acted on. And you've probably not acted on it because it's probably like a little bit different, like as in no one's done it before. And again, this kind of goes back to what Donna was talking about, really, about stories and why stories are so important, because stories show that the impossible is possible. And this is another reason why Don't Be a Sheep is so important, is because all of those ideas, for those 40 plus ideas that everyone has on the call today, you can actually be making the world a better place. You can be improving your own career, improving other people's career, like Foyam. So that's really the main message here, is that don't be a sheep just because, you know, it's easy. Don't be a sheep just because you think that your idea is non-conformist, that it doesn't just match everyone else's idea, because that's not what makes an idea unique. So we've done Don't Be a Sheep. Brilliant. So this one's one of my favorites as well. They're probably all my favorites. I'm going to say that to all of them. So what as I've kind of worked through, so I've been working in the industry for around kind of like nine-ish years now. And one of the things that I have come to see, and so I'm one of these people that come up with the ideas and present them. And when someone goes, that's probably not a great idea, Sarah, or I don't want to support it, I get really deflated. So I'm like, oh, right, okay, like that's probably a crap idea then, I'm not going to do it. And I've come to understand as time has gone on, that essentially there's this thing called, or I've called it like alpha beta mindset. And what this means is that when you have a good idea, so when you're doing the previous task of not being a sheep and coming up with a great idea, you may, you know, when you start to talk to someone about it, and someone may go, I don't really think that's a great idea, or Sarah, like, kind of, I can't support you in that. That doesn't mean it's not good. And that all that means is that person doesn't want to support you, or can't, right? It's not necessarily about want, maybe they don't have the time or whatever. And the really main thing here is all about the fact that I kind of group I group people into two areas. You've got the people that will absolutely support an untested idea. And many people on the call today are these kind of people. I'm definitely one of these people. Like if someone comes to me with a good idea that hasn't ever like kind of, you know, been executed in that way before, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Donna's the same, Alison, everyone, you're all the same. That you'll be like, that's so cool. But some people just aren't like that. And that's just how it is. You're not going to change those people. It's just how they are. And the big thing here is you can stop actually being hurt and stopping projects or potential ideas by understanding this, that it's not your idea that's the issue. It's just the fact that they are maybe not in a place, maybe don't want to, don't have the time to support you. They're not those kind of people. So what you should be doing is when you have an idea, you should be seeking your alpha testers. You should be seeking people that will go ahead and support you even when you have an untested idea. And you need to take good care of those people. You need to make sure that you make it easy for them, which is actually another tip. So hold that thought. So that's really what alpha beta mindset is. And we can check that one off. We are good. The next one is, and this is very pertinent to this group as well, in terms of, you know, Foyam's offering an opportunity for mentorship. And, you know, this isn't just the opportunity that you'll find for mentorship. You know, I often encourage people to be unapologetic about asking for mentorship. I certainly did. Craig Hamer, in one of my first partners, was my mentor, and he was awesome. I asked him, but what I did was I made it easy for him. Again, another tip, hold that thought. But the idea is that mentorship was my responsibility at that time when I was early on in my career. And just like everyone on the call today, that's your responsibility. So if you're being mentored, it's not your mentor's responsibility to schedule those calls or ask when a good time would be, or set the schedule even. So when I was in that position, and we're all being mentored at, you know, every time in our lives, but if I was to do the same right now, I would be the one that sets those calls. If I am serious about that mentorship, I will set the agenda. I will set what I'm trying to achieve out of that. And this is really important. And the reason why it's important is because you want to make the most out of your investment. This isn't just your mentor's time, it's also your time. And it's really about how fast you want to move. Like, do you really want to get the time out of that? Because ultimately, when you have a mentor, you don't know when they're going to just like kind of say, I can't do this anymore. I've not got the time. So, you know, you're on kind of like borrowed time. You have no idea how long you've got in terms of having that mentorship is going to be truthful. So make sure you make use of every single minute that you have with that person. So I would always recommend to identify what you want out of that mentorship. What has that person got that you want to get out their brain? Like for me, a lot of the times, especially right now, is I seek mentorship. So I look for people who disagree with me. So those are the people that I often get the most value out of, because I can create an idea. I'm resilient enough to not be a sheep right now, and also to find my alpha testers, but get those people that support me. And that's really important for me. Whereas especially maybe someone who wants to get into the Power Platform, you want to go ahead and get someone, try and find someone that has a lot of connections, or like a good network, and also is knowledgeable in the technology, because then they can go ahead and point you to things so you can go ahead and do that. So you can see how even just those two examples, that you've got to have a different experience in that mentorship journey. And make sure you communicate that, like, as in, I just phrase that probably terribly, but you need to tell your mentor that that's what you want to get out of that relationship, because it's then full disclosure. You can then go ahead and structure that around what you want to do. So that's a really important one. We're around halfway there. This is awesome, and hopefully I'm still on time. So I'm gonna, yeah, we're good. Brilliant. So this is a great one, especially in today's climate with COVID. So one of the things I would always recommend is how to make use of your time. And the reason I say that is because we all have lives, and we all have like families. We all have like things that we want to do outside of work, as in not just community work. Like I love reading, gaming, whatever, and I want to get some time for that. And it's really easy to go ahead, and if you don't get time for like recharge time, you're going to burn out, and you're not going to be a happy person to be around either. You're not going to actually get where you want to go. So make sure that you have a good mix of your kind of types of things that you do. And to do that, that means that you've got a certain piece of the pie of time, like 24 hours in a day, that you can dedicate to your technology, right? So, and I appreciate that we're all going to have late nights and stuff like that at one point, but I'm talking generally here. So a limited amount of time, and you need to use every single minute. So if you just want to work 8 hours a day, how can you make the most out of the 8 hours a day? And then if you want to work 10 hours a day, how can you make the most of those 10 hours a day? So one of the biggest sources of waste are waiting for meetings. So this is waiting for meetings to start, because ultimately I'm not going to start a big project if I've got a meeting on the hour. I'm not going to start something at 10 to, like as in 10 minutes to the hour. So what can I do in that time? And my biggest recommendation in terms of this topic is how to use every single minute of your day or your allocated time is have a slow progress item on the go. What I mean by that is have something you can chip away at. So this could be a PowerPoint slide that you're doing for an event. This could be maybe an email in drafts. This could be really anything, a document, anything, but make sure you know it's your slow progress item. And what this means is that 10 to the hour, maybe now you're just kind of doing nothing. You've got your coffee, everything's great. You can go ahead and chip away at that. The amount of progress I make on my stuff, like presentations or documentation, with it being a progress item is crazy. So make sure that you can go ahead and make that progress and use that. I definitely this is one of the most important things, because otherwise you're going to have to find that you're working your 8-9 hours a day, then you're having to then do loads of stuff in the evening. And as much as that's okay and that's a commitment, I'm definitely not saying that's a bad thing, but remember you want to still have a life as well outside of everything. So every minute of your day. This is a great one. I love this one. I told you I'll say that for everything. Understand what leadership is. So again, some people on the call today said that you want to be mentored by people, like as in you haven't, you want to get into tech, or you've just started your journey into tech. And that means some people will categorize you as a junior. I don't particularly like those that kind of prefix to names, but it's an organizational thing. But the reason why I don't like those names is often what will happen is when you're labeled as a junior, you become a junior. And that means then you don't show leadership. And what I've seen happen very often is then those people will want to be told what to do. Those people will not show leadership because they don't think it's their job. And that's a real problem for me. because like leadership is an attitude. As in, I've seen the different, like I've seen people like who have just started their career in tech make probably the most impressive design mock-ups I've ever seen in my entire career, way better than something I could have done. And they're technically a junior. And that leadership, that attitude, that mindset is so important. And as you're gonna come to see this when we start talking about money, it's critical. Because this is how you start to get headhunted for like roles. This is how people start to know who you are. How Donna described Foyen and the other people, the other amazing people in her stories, is because they've showed leadership. They've displayed leadership, but not because someone's told them to. It's because they've just done it. And that's essentially what happens, is regardless of where you are in your career, whether you are day one of starting your tech journey to day 1,000, you can show leadership. And, you know, it doesn't have to be in your job. It doesn't have to be something you may say, I've not really got too much opportunity to show leadership in your job. I'll challenge that. The reason being is because you can see on the slide there, the task, if you want to get started with showing leadership, is how to avoid awkward silences on a Teams call. So I'm sure people have done this. When you join a Teams call, everything's silent. So even the person who's made the call is silent. And I do that. I have at least probably 1 or 2 of these a day on my working day. And I'm like, hey, everyone, how are you doing? Like, how's everyone doing? Tell me about your day. Like, what are we doing today? And you know, there's a leadership aspect to that, and you can do this. You can do this too. I would encourage you, if you're starting this meeting, if you are leading a meeting, greet everyone by name on that call. Ask how they're doing. Genuinely ask how they're doing. Avoid those awkward silences, and remember to wrap it up. Like, keep to time, and just generally make sure you get everyone's opinions. There's normally a few people that are silent on that meeting, and ask their opinion. Hey, Sarah, like, you've not really said much. We'd love to hear from you. That's leadership. That is bringing that out. That is like one of the most critical things. So understand what leadership is. We are good. We have done 6 so far. There is 3 left. So we've got plan, reassess, and repeat. How to ask for a raise and make it easier for someone to help you. These are awesome ones. I love these ones. Make it easier for someone to help you. Oh, this is great. So you've heard me reference this in a few of my other tips that I've given you. The big thing here is that understand your position when you're asking someone to help, like someone for help, right? You want to be nice about it, but also the fact is that, you know, it's a negotiation almost, right? You're asking someone for help, and this is so relevant for mentorships, for example, like that leadership piece. And what I always share with people is, you know, and it's kind of a marketing thing as well, right? Is that if you've ever bought anything from Amazon, you've heard of like one click purchase, right? That's because they're making it easy for you to spend money. Because ultimately, a lot of our decisions are emotional, like as in they're especially purchase decisions. Technically, we don't need anything more than food and water. And the fact is that if you're buying something on Amazon, you know, it's going to be something that you probably don't need, and unless it's obviously food or water. But the idea is that they want to make it so that you do not change your mind. So you literally give me your money straight away. And how many times I've definitely done the same thing. Have you abandoned your cart on an online shopping experience because it's too much of a pain in the ass? Like, as in, I'm not doing this. I'm not making an account. I'm not, you know, doing X, Y, and Z. And they've just lost your business. And it's the same thing as well. And with other companies and stuff like that as well. And I have the same analogy for when I need help. I remove all barriers to someone assisting me. And the reason why that's important is because I kind of want the help, right? As in, why should I make it difficult for someone to help me? So if you're asking someone to do something and they have to jump through 50 different hoops, that's going to be hard to be able to get that assistance. Okay, so how you act on this is when you're asking someone for help, try and understand what works best for them. So this is like, for me, you know, I always get asked to jump on calls. Like, hey, you got like 15 minutes call. And it's like, it just doesn't work for me. Like, as in, you know, I'm not just sitting out. I'm not just like laying on the floor in a starfish shape waiting for a call, right? Whereas I will look at my emails, like kind of generally very regularly. So go ahead and email me, and that's going to be a much better method for me, not necessarily for all of you. So you need to first of all understand, like, when someone asks you for help, what's the easiest way for them, like for you to help them, and communicate that. So this is a two-way street, right? So the idea is that, you know, when you're asking for help, make it easier for them, but then when you're being asked to help somebody, tell them how they can make it easier for you. So don't just say yes, because then, like, kind of, if this is how you get crazy schedules and this is how you get overworked and burnout, make sure that they help you, because you're in a position of power in terms of this negotiation. So that is, we've got 2 to go. This is awesome. We've done make it easy for someone to help you. Oh, this one's good. Hopefully I've got a little bit of time for this one. Yeah. Oh no, fine. I'll only be like 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. Okay. So how to ask for a raise. So you are all deserving of whatever money you want. That's the biggest thing. If you take nothing away from this, how to ask for money, like as in, if you just want a figure, like as in, you could go get that figure. So that's the biggest recommend. Don't ever think, and this is talking from someone who used to be on minimum wage in the UK, you're deserving of whatever money you want. And let's not pretend here, right? I used to, when I was early on in my career, I'd be like, I'm not motivated by money. Yes, I am motivated by money. And the reason being, and it took me like 5-6 years to admit that. The reason being is because I wanna make my own life easier. And unfortunately, we live in a world where money has a lot of power, and we need to eat. We need stuff to go ahead and live, especially if you've got a family, and you should be absolutely unapologetic about that. Okay. And this is not just about asking for a raise. This is also when you go into a job and ask for your money. So make sure you do your research, please. Alison Mulligan's on the call and she's presenting today. If you want some assistance in terms of this, we will 100% help you. Alison's amazing at this stuff as well. So you need to do your market research. Make sure you understand what someone of your skill set is kind of generally gets in the market that you're looking for a role in. But not just that, that doesn't mean that's what you should go for. Okay, it's about knowing a general, because you'll always find like general kind of ranges. And please, if there's ever a range, you go for the highest, and then you don't even have to go, you can go above it. Okay, so never go the lower end of a range when you're asking for money, or if someone gives you a kind of like 5 to 10k range. Okay, go for 10k or go for 15k, and then they'll negotiate down. Okay, now, like I said, be unapologetic. You want money. Okay, and when you want to raise, now that the challenge when you ask for a raise in a company is it's again a negotiation. But so when people come to me and say, Sarah, I want more money, I ask them one thing. I say, what have you done to deserve a raise? Because as much as like some companies have like rules where they increase their money from inflation, but the idea is that you need to be an asset to that company. So you need to turn your thinking around, your narrative from yourself to the company. If that was your company, what would you do in terms of giving people money? Because a company will never just say, here's another 10k. Hey, congratulations, Sarah, here's 10k for doing a great job. Never going to happen. Okay, if you are waiting for a raise right now, never going to happen. You need to ask for it. Okay, and practice. The other thing is practice. If anyone on this call, I'm more than happy to jump on calls if someone wants to role play asking for more money. And it's really important you do that. Okay, and answer the questions. Have you demonstrated leadership? Work out your job definition. So if you're perhaps working for not just a raise, but maybe a bump from a job role, that's also something that you need to do. Okay, we can do a whole hour on how to ask for. And then the last one is really plan, reassess, and repeat. So again, I'm a planner. I don't make it. I love planning. And the big thing here is about don't keep it static. So I actually redo a plan every 24 hours. So, and this could be a career plan as well, and not just, your kind of daily plan. But the big thing here is avoid having a huge long list of stuff, because that's not going to really be helping your confidence. It's going to be keep it lean and remove things. So as in, you need to be like brutal, as in if something is not serving you, if you've not done something in like a month, you need to really it's like wearing stuff in like your wardrobe, right? If you're looking at something you've not picked up for 6 months, get rid of it. And it's the same thing for your task list, right? Make sure you have this mindset of plan, reassess, and repeat. So let's just summarize what we just covered. We covered all of these. And remember, what I said about this kind of like noughts and crosses style here. Okay, so you want to try and go ahead and go from left to right and pick 3. If you're going to do one thing, pick 3 and then go ahead and act on that, and maybe go ahead and tweet me what you've done, tweet me some feedback from the session you've heard today. I'd love to hear your feedback. Hopefully it's helped you out and stuff as well. So that's it from me. I hope everyone found that useful. Sorry for going over time a little bit for you, but yeah, hopefully that's been good for everyone.
Wow, that was totally amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. I mean, I was just scribbling my notes here.
I love that. That's amazing.
I'm taking quick pictures of your slides. This is so useful. I've learned so much from understanding your alpha testers. I think that's really important, because most of the time, like when I have an idea, I expect everyone to be excited as I am. And if there's someone that is not excited, I'm wondering why. But from what you said today, I realized that, okay, so when you have an idea, certainly not everyone's going to be excited about it. So get ready for that, right? And don't be ashamed. Yeah, get your thick skin on, and take the feedback. So yes, and about mentorship also, most of us that look for mentors, we expect the mentors to set the pace, but these are very extremely busy people. I think one thing that would show seriousness that you're actually ready to be mentored is when you set the pace. Okay, this is what I want to do, and this is where I need help. So that was also really helpful. And then we should not be apologetic about the fact that we need more money. I think a lot of us, when I went for my negotiation meeting, the lady that did the financial negotiation with me, and she was like, ask, and I was so scared to ask. And she amount, but you should be able to ask. So I think that's also a good one for me, and also understanding what the market says for your level. So you're not just going blindly into an interview. You need to do your research and find out, okay, what's the range available for someone in my level. And don't take the lower band, go for the higher band, or put a plus on it, plus 2K or something. And so it was totally amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions for Sarah, you can drop in the chat box or send her a tweet. Our handle is right there staring at us. Thank you so much, Sarah. I learned so much from your session. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thank you.
Up next, we have Georgia.
Yes, I'm here. First of all, I want to say that, Sarah, I'm learning too here. I'm taking notes from your session. Thank you for first of all, inviting me in this. It's amazing. Let me share my screen so we can just jump on it. So my name is Georgia, and I have been given another nickname in my company as Agent 001 because of what I have done with using the platform. And I'm gonna show you now how I started, where I come from, what I studied, how I ended up using the Power Platform, and what you actually can do as well using the Power Platform. So I'm from a place called Greece. It's a very sunny place, but of course it has the economic crisis. That's why I flew away from there to just study abroad. So how I started, actually, I didn't even want to study anything on technology or computer science. I wanted to be a policewoman, and because of height restrictions and limits, I couldn't. So then my uncle actually tried to tell me and persuade me to follow up with computer science. Nobody in my family knows anything about computers. Nobody knows anything about technology. They are all teachers, lecturers, nothing to do with technology at all. So he persuaded me and he said, you know what, we need someone in the family to have a knowledge on that. So I said, okay, let's try that. And he said, if you don't like it, you just go for something else. Is not that you cannot do that. I said, okay. So I studied applied informatics and technology management. But of course, because of the situation in Greece, I didn't have the chance to actually work in Greece on technology and computer science. So I flew to Aberdeen in Scotland, and I started studying a master's in IT for oil and gas. And from there, actually, I ended up trying to find a job in the UK. And I had many interviews, and you will probably, many of you will have these interviews that don't go anywhere, and you are disappointed, and goes on. So I took a step back and I said, okay, maybe a graduate job is not for me. I don't have maybe the skills for that. So I applied for an internship. And of course, the salary is lower, and you don't get all these things that you're waiting for from a job like that. And I applied for an internship it was my last chance, actually, because after that I was going back to Greece and reevaluating all my plan. And actually, the day I received the email that I have the interview was my birthday. So best birthday gift ever. That's true. And 2 days after, I had my interview. So I got in a cab, and I went to the interview place, and actually went to the wrong place. Pressure there. Of course, I was panicking, and I didn't have to. Actually, I just walked 10 minutes to the right building, and I walked into the interview 5 minutes on time. When my now manager and teacher interviewed me, he actually asked me, do you know Power Apps and Power BI? My answer was, I know PowerPoint. I have no idea what you're talking about. Not in these words, but basically that's what I meant. And he said, that's okay, don't worry, that's easy to learn. That's how I started my internship with Schlumberger, where I work now. I was taught by Alan Chai about the Power Platform. And as you can see, some examples of apps that I have built since then. I have built more than 65 apps. I'm close to 70 now. And the average build time is 3 hours. And I'm going to tell you why is that. So that's the interview section. So how did I start? I was actually studying my mentor, in this case was Alan, for 2 weeks. And that's how I ended up knowing about Power Apps, Power BI, and Power Automate. We didn't have Power Virtual Agents back then, so I'm learning that now. After that, I started supporting existing apps that Alan had built. And then, of course, after a month, I was able to go on solo and build my first complex app, which took me actually the first one 3 months. But by building that one, I learned a lot of things. And that's why I started coaching others on how to use Power Apps and all the other tools on Power Platform. I ran app over LANs, dashboard over LANs, and of course, I helped Alan to build the internal community using Yammer. And that's how we started. How, though, I ended up in moving in London, working for a department called Health, Safety and Environment, HSE. And I moved in November 2019. And in January, the outbreak of coronavirus, of the COVID-19, started in China. So we had a meeting because actually the company that I'm working for is operating globally. So the outbreak was already affecting the operations that we have in China. And we have employees there as well. So we had to do something. And we had the meeting, and apart from everything else that we implemented as how we will manage the operations, how we will close the offices, how we will protect the employees, and etc. We had an idea of building actually an app to reach all the employees, despite that they are not affected from the virus at the moment. And we wanted to have a single place to communicate to employees all the information about this new virus, and be able to inform them about emergency response contacts and have them take a self-exposure assessment. And that was back in January 29th, 24 hours after launch day. We actually had more than 5.7K unique users using the app. And that app was built in 3 hours. That's why the average build time right now is 3 hours. And it was the fastest one that I've ever built, to be honest. And since then, yeah, the build time has lowered. And Power Platform can enable us to build an app that can have such an impact in only 3 hours, right? From idea to actual product to actually launching, it was a whole one day to secure all the data and compliance that comes with a big corporation like ours. It's an amazing tool to start using. Today, though, the app has changed a little bit, look and feel, and of course, with Power Platform, that is the easiest thing you can do. You can change the app every day. So the app evolved from there and now has more things for employees to take a look at. And actually, we reached 42K unique users since the first day that we launched. And that is the fastest adopted app and the most used app in our tenant right now. And that's what I want to say. It's a simple app because it's giving information to people, but also, of course, it has actions, sending emails, sending notifications if a person needs help, and etc. But when you're in a crisis mode, you actually need something out fast. You need to inform the employees. You need to have them use it, and a big part on that, we need a platform that can actually enable us to do that. And building an app from a native app, it wasn't going to be in one day. So Power Apps actually has saved a lot of hours of building, a lot of money on building native apps in our company, and it actually is a corporate app, right? A large corporate app that is being used widely since then. And that's how I ended up being the Agent 001. So I actually made one of my other dreams true, right? Because I wanted to be a policewoman, but I actually ended up being a special agent. So of course, Power Platform has actually changed my life a lot since I started using it in my internship. And that's my story. And I believe that each and every one of you can have a similar story and even more powerful one using the Power Platform and the tools that you have at hand without knowing a bit of code.
Wow, I'm totally inspired. Yes, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, and one thing you missed out though, which I'm going to add to your story is,
okay.
So the part she missed out is after she built the app, we got Microsoft to steal. So Microsoft actually built an app off of Georgia's template, which they released across all tenants as a standard template app for COVID and crisis management. And I mean, that was just awesome. So she's a star. She's a rock star.
Thank you. That was teamwork, a community work. We should thank Microsoft first of all for taking that initiative to do that, and the community, because they helped a lot in the testing phase of this.
Yes. I tested the app too. Just saying. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your story, Agent 001. Thank you. Thank you. So, if you have any questions for Georgia, please drop in the chat box. All right, so next is Allison. And how you can get started with it. Hello, Allison. Okay, it's coming up.
Let me come off mute. That would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully you can all hear me now. And I just want to kick off by saying, big thank you to Foyen. Thank you for having me on this event. I'm really honoured to be here in the presence of such awesome women. I just wanted to say that for any of you that are not currently part of a Microsoft community, of any Microsoft community, whether it's Power Platform or Windows or whatever, you will never find such warmth and caring and support and diversity and friendship as you will inside of this community. There's some people that I've met through community that I would now consider friends, that have, all of the people in the community have helped me and supported me tremendously, and I'm hugely thankful for that. So if you're not part of a community, hopefully I can encourage you to get involved with the community. But so I just want to whiz you through my whistle-stop presentation today, just a little bit about me and what I've done. I've got 20 years experience recruiting into the tech sector through telecoms, engineering, into IT, ERP, and then latterly now specializing in Microsoft and the Power Platform. And I'm also a confirmed Power Addict and a D365 CRM user. What we're going to cover today, and we're just going to touch on some of this, we won't have time to go into depth on some of these areas, is your first steps with the Power Platform, how to increase your skills, and then a little bit about planning your career development. So this is not a slide-heavy presentation. This is mostly me gabbing on at you for 15 minutes. So first steps in the Power Platform, how can you get started? So you just heard a great story from Georgia about how she got started in Power Platform by shadowing Alan and supporting some of the apps that he's built. That's one route that you can go into. Another route is some of you may or may not know a guy called Samit Saini, who works at Heathrow Airport, and he was a guy that worked on security. And they had, Heathrow Airport's an enormous airport. They have a number of people coming through the airport who are not English speakers, and when the security rules required them to change things in their baggage regarding liquids, etc., they had difficulty communicating, and they had what was called the Red Book, which was kept. They only had one for some inexplicable reason, and it was kept on a table somewhere. And if somebody came through and you were trying to help them with their liquids, and you didn't have you weren't able to communicate, they didn't speak English and you didn't speak their language, then you would go and get the Red Book and come back, and it had all of the translations for all of the different liquids and rules and all of that kind of thing. And Samit went home and he had no coding experience whatsoever, no tech experience whatsoever. He did a bit of research and said there's got to be an easier way of doing this. And he stumbled into Microsoft Power Apps and went, right, okay, so I can just build this as an app. It can't possibly be that easy, but actually it really was. And just born of that idea about making people's lives easier, he came up with an idea that led to him having a complete change in his career direction. He'd always assumed that he was just going to carry on doing security, and now he's a Power Apps champion with his own baseball card, and he's known in the Microsoft community around the world. So all of that came from, he spotted an opportunity to make life easier for the people working in the airport. Now, you probably have around you, even if you're not working in a Microsoft partner or a company that uses Power Platform now, I promise you there are things being done around you that could be improved by the use of Power Apps or Power Automate or something on the Power Platform. Power Apps and Power Automate are some of the easiest ways to get started with making people's lives easier just by the nature of those tools. So, how I got started on my Power Apps journey was, we were still, although we were a paperless office, the only area that we had paper in was in our expenses, and we had to print off an expense sheet, which actually was just an Excel spreadsheet, and write our expenses in there and staple our receipts to the back of it, and then they had to go off to be signed. And I went, this is nuts. We're a paperless office, and we're still printing stuff off and filling it out by hand. So I just built a tiny little app that allowed you to put your expenses in online, get them authorized, and you could upload a picture of the receipt, so you didn't have to keep wallets full of receipts. And so, it was just a really tiny, very easy app, a very small, very easy app, but it made a difference for us, and actually it cut down on quite a bit of labor and quite a lot of tree death. That was a win for us. I'm sure there are things that happen in your company now where people are still using Excel spreadsheets, or where they have repetitive tasks. Maybe you have something where people are always replying to certain types of emails. Perhaps you have incoming questions, and they're all the same type of questions. And like Donna mentioned earlier with an FAQ, could you build a chatbot? Could you build a Power Virtual Agent? Could you build something like that will cut down on a lot of the repetitive tasks that people are doing? And another really easy way to have a think about something that you can build, maybe an app or a Power Automate flow for, is, can you see where time or money is being wasted? Does it take forever to get expenses through approval when it could just happen almost instantly? Is there something you could do really simply, like is time and money wasted by people having a really laborious process to put their holiday requests in? Could you build a Power App for that? Are people doing repetitive tasks on a monthly basis, like reconciling bank sheets to spreadsheets? Is that something you could build an app for? Is it something you could do in Power Automate, that could auto match what's on the spreadsheet versus what's on the bank rec? There's so many opportunities in the company all around you now to use Power Automate, to use Power Virtual Agents, to use Power BI for great reports. Are people spending a lot of time reproducing similar reports over and over again, or similar Excel spreadsheets? Could you just build it as a Power BI report that automatically updates from your CRM? Probably. There's probably a way of doing it. So look for things that you can do that will cut down on manual labor. Like Donna says, running a business, you can automate so many parts of it now, and that's where you can get started. Easy things that you can do that you can automate with technology. Then we're going to go into increasing your Power Platform skills, because it's super easy to get started, and you can get cracking with App in a Day. I've got a link in this presentation actually shortly for App in a Day, or Donna shared the link earlier for Power Up, which is a really easy way to get started building a Canvas app. Super simple to follow. Once you've done that and you want to go a bit further, maybe you're the only person that is doing anything with Power Platform in your organization. Maybe it's not something that your company have adopted, in which case get involved in a community. Look at what other people are doing in that community. If you go onto LinkedIn, or if you go onto Twitter and you search for the hashtag Power Addict, as my Louisa Freeze t-shirt will tell you, you'll find a bunch of other people who are doing stuff on all kinds of things on the Power Platform. You can get inspiration from those. A lot of these people have blogs. They have YouTube channels where you can follow along what they're doing with their YouTube videos. Any of these people, I promise you, you may not believe me, but I promise you, any and every one of these people will help you if you reach out to them and ask for help. And if you don't want to reach out to someone in particular, you can just post out a question with the hashtag Power Addicts and maybe tag a couple of people like me or Sarah. We may not know the answer, but we will 100% know someone that does, and we'll find them and tag them in on Twitter, and they'll give you an answer. If you haven't built an app, do an App in a Day, which I mentioned. Find a problem in your company or for your clients. Do your clients have something that is taking up a lot of time and doesn't need to happen, a task that's laborious and doesn't need to happen manually, that can be systematized for them? And start a portfolio of all of these apps, everything that you build. If you do App in a Day, you can spin up a trial environment, and you can have your apps in there, so you can keep screenshots, whatever it is that is useful to you, to have it as a portfolio, so you can show it to people. So when you go to a company and say, I want to work in your Power Platform division, you've got some content to go with. You can say, look, this is some of the stuff that I've done. And it doesn't have to be sophisticated. It doesn't have to look really like George's Slumberge app is gorgeous looking, really, really nicely branded. You don't have to worry about what it looks like. Nobody's expecting you to be a graphic designer, but they're just interested that you're interested enough to build these apps and get involved in this technology, and that you have some understanding of it. And I promise you, there is a ton of employers out there that are already getting really, really pushed for resources in their Power Apps areas. So, and that demand is only going to go up and up and up and up and up as more and more people can see how much time they can save by automating tasks. So now is the perfect time to get started. Like, if you haven't got started already, get started this weekend. Like Donna said, she gave you homework. Make sure you do it. Do the Power Up. Do Power Apps in a day. There's also, if you search on Twitter, you can find Power Automate in a day as well. And I really forget who posted that up, but I will find it and post it up. Get some coaching. There are tons of people in this community that will help you. There are people that provide free coaching programs. Over here we have Julian Sharp, who does coaching for certifications. We have Neil Parkhurst, MVP, who does coaching for certifications. There's bound to be people that probably Foyen knows. Foyen's one of them, that's going to help you to get coached and get through your certifications. Because again, if you're going to a company and you want to work in the Power Platform, you want to get employed specifically in that area, if you have the recognized Microsoft certifications to go with it, it's an easier conversation starter, right, than just like, well, I really like it, but I haven't actually done anything with it yet. So here is a link to App in a Day. That does go to an auto download, so that doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but I'm sure someone's very generously tapping in the comments right now, the aka.ms/app-in-a-day link. Hopefully you've had time to take a shot of that. Planning career development, which I'm going to whiz through super quickly, conscious of time. I could do 2 or more hours on planning career development, and I am going to do a series of content about it, and I'll make sure that I'll send links to Foyen so that she can disseminate to you guys. There's quite a lot that you can do to plan your career development. Is exactly as Sarah said, it's the same as asking for a pay rise. You need to understand the value that you're giving to the organization now, and then you look at that and say, right, so what's the next logical move that I can do? If you're already working in the Power Platform, this may be slightly easier, but if you're outside of the Power Platform, what is the next role that you want to get into? Do you want to get into a role as a Power Platform consultant? You're currently outside of that, in which case probably you should be targeting Microsoft partners and looking at some of their consultant and training programs, or what other kind of entry-level positions they have. Not junior, because no one's a junior. You may not have Power App skills, but you have a million skills in a different area, so you're not a junior. Then have a look at what the gap is between what you know now and what you need to know for that. And you don't need to know all of it. If there's a list of 10 things, you need probably between 50 and 80% of that. But at least if you have more than 50% of it, then you're on your way. Do you need any training or qualifications? Again, going back to the get mentored, get on a coaching program, get certifications, get a portfolio together, get help from the community. There is literally the whole world is available to you in the Microsoft community. Literally the entire world of Power Apps people and Power Platform people are available to you. So here is a list of certifications, which does look a bit terrifying if you're not used to it, but I was just putting it in there to show that you have that the certifications are role-based. So it makes sense for you to decide, are you going to go down a functional role? So if you're currently in banking, then maybe you want to go down a functional stream, meaning that you use your banking knowledge to bring to banking clients. So you may go and work for a Microsoft partner, and they have clients who work in banking or finance, and they will need functional consultants. So people that go along and sit with that client and say, right, what do you do now? What can we improve with the Power Platform? And be that liaison between the tech guys who are going to build it and the client users. And all of these certifications have like a basic level, fundamentals level, then associate, and then expert. Again, I've included a link here in case that is of interest to you if you want to study that at your leisure, because I'm just really wary that I don't want to run over too much on time. And I think the rest of my presentation is just my LinkedIn. Reach out to me. I can't necessarily help you, but I can. But I can put you in touch with someone who can. If I can't help you, I know someone who can, I promise you. And likewise, my Twitter, reach out to me on Twitter, which is often the much quicker way of getting hold of me. And again, it's easier on Twitter because I can probably just tag someone else straight in to whatever it is that you're trying to do. But don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. I'm happy to disseminate information. I'm happy to share anything that I know with anybody, and put you in touch with anybody that I think can help you. So I think that we've probably got a Q&A session at the end, so maybe I don't need any questions. So hopefully I've wrapped that up in time. And thank you so much for watching and being with me today. And thank you for having me. And as I said on the chat earlier, there are no barriers to entry in the Power Platform. There are zero barriers to entry into the Power Platform. So the only thing that's stopping you is yourself. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Alison. That was so good. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your detailed explanation. I mean, I love the web, the certification web.
Yeah, like it's a bit terrifying when you first look at it.
Yes, but it's really helpful because then you can decide this is how I want to take it, and then you're starting up on the right track.
Yes.
So sometimes with certifications, you discover that you've written an exam, and then that's not so the exam you have to just junk it and go and write another one that's going to lead you off to the end where you want. So the web is was really, really good. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and yes, Alison knows everyone. So need any help, please reach out to her on Twitter. She's so helpful, and she will connect you with the right people.
Yes.
All right. So let's drop. We're taking our questions at the end, so you can either drop it in the chat box or wait to the end and then ask your questions. So up next we have Abigail. Abigail, you're next. Abigail is
hello for you.
Yes, Abigail she's an amazing person, right? She's the one managing the Twitter handle for our Power Apps Nigeria group, and she has been very faithful and dedicated in doing it, and it's just all voluntary. So she's been really supportive, and yes, I'm happy that she accepted our invite and she's here today.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Yes, hello everyone. Oh, thank you for that, for bringing me on board. Okay, so I think I'm definitely taking a whole lot away from this session. In fact, I've learned. Georgia, thank you for the amazing story. Donna, Sarah, and Alison. Okay, so I'm here particularly for ladies that think they don't know enough, or they're not supposed to be hard. They just want to take a seat at the back of the room and just watch. So I'm here to encourage you today that you should stop self-sabotaging. You should ask questions. Don't think you are not good enough. Don't think this space is a boys' club. The tech space, is a boys' club, and you're not supposed to be hard. Because I was speaking with a lady last week, 2 weeks thereabout, and then she said if she had a choice, she wouldn't even be in the space, that she thinks it's all for men and all of that. So I'm here to encourage you. I should stop self-sabotaging. So self-sabotaging are those things we do that actively or passively, or sometimes we do them consciously, prevent us from making our work seen. They prevent us from realizing our full potential. We think we are not good enough. We think my skill is not relevant, so I'm not supposed to showcase it. I was once there, and I'm going to be sharing my story with you. I hope that it encourages you. So how I self-sabotage myself, and how you may be doing the same. So when I got my first real job in Lagos, and talking about first real job, I mean this kind of office where, the doors are made of glass, the women are on heels and the guys are on tailored suits, and then they will come into the office with their coffee cup, saying hi, hello to each other. And I was there unnoticed, and I was all new to that environment. It was a corporate environment. So my job description was I was going to work with Power Apps, Power Automate. I was going to automate business processes. I was going to use SharePoint and the likes. And I was really, really lost, like, because although I've heard of SharePoint, I think I heard of Power Apps from a friend, David, but I'd never used it. I'd never used it to create anything, or neither do I know how it looks like. But here I am, or there I was, and I had to keep my work, my job, and of course, money. I needed money. So I had to go to YouTube, start learning, and I started watching videos. Thanks to people like Sean Young, their videos were really, they really helped. So I would watch videos, sometimes I'll place my systems by the side. While I watch video, I'll pause it, I just quickly do something, then I watch again, I'll replicate the process. So, and at that moment, like that, I was doing that, and I was growing, I was learning, I was delivering on the job. I was actually doing things I was told to do. Example was, I was told one time by my boss that I was supposed to create a portal that holds all the organization policies. I mean, these policies were over 500, 600, and I had to, create like a mini repository where staff could go and check for policies that was relating to their department. In fact, that was a really tasking job for me. So after like a month thereabouts, I did this, and at that I was still thinking I wasn't good enough. I thought this skill wasn't real, it wasn't a real skill or something sellable. I felt, in fact, at some point I was already losing interest at it. So a particular day at home in the afternoon, I decided to just check videos on YouTube. So I came across a lady, and everything she teaches people on her YouTube channel was just automations. And then each of our videos would have up to 4,000, 6,000 likes. And then I checked this video, I realized that these are things I do every day at work, and I was busy thinking I wasn't good enough. But this is a lady like me, that is bold enough to just showcase that skill I thought wasn't sellable. So at that moment, I discovered that I know a lot more than I thought. I don't know. I realized that I've been self-sabotaging myself. I realized that I've been causing myself a lot of harm than good. So at that moment, I thought to myself, okay, I was going to change that attitude. I was first going to develop my interest in this, and then I was going to showcase my skill. That is what I think I know. I was going to show it to people that I know this thing. So that rethink led me to the Power Apps community, the Microsoft Power Apps Nigeria community, where I got really active. And it seemed as though I was the only lady in the community, In fact, I got so active that I got the opportunity to speak at the global boot camp that happened in Lagos last year. I was able to facilitate, teach people, and also I handled the social media for the community. In fact, that is to say, I am the person behind the tweets, for the community, Instagram, and all of that. So, and at that, Foy noticed me, and she took interest in me because I thought I was going to change my thought of keeping myself behind, sabotaging myself, and all of that. So you may be doing the same, ladies. In fact, most ladies in tech do the same. You think you don't want to get embarrassed. You think you don't know enough. You just want to maintain status quo. Just do what you know and just leave. So I'm encouraging you to stop self-sabotaging yourself. So these are some of the things that are limiting us as ladies in tech. Fear of not knowing enough. you think you don't know enough. Like I thought my skill was not valuable in the market. I felt it's just power apps, power automate, and I need to actually learn how to code. I felt if you don't know how to code, if you don't know how to do those magic, like using Python, those names, I just want to go out there and be like, oh yes, I code on Python. So I felt I do not know enough because I just use Power Apps, and I never knew that it was one great opportunity to be able to build without coding. The fear of not doing enough. At some point, I felt it was too simple. In fact, at some point when I got so better and I was really developing at work, I felt this was just simple. I just have to just bring some things together, just tweak some simple codes, and that is it. Boom, it's up. I just automate an alert. People just start getting an alert, and I thought, is that work? Is that a thing? Fear of not doing enough, fear of not good enough. I thought I wasn't good enough. I felt like I said, my skill wasn't sellable. So fear of not doing enough is limiting. These thoughts are limiting. They could be limiting. And then these are the ways to get better, ways I got better, ask questions. At some point when I realized that I was self-sabotaging myself, I would go to my boss and sincerely ask for help. Okay, I can't do this. I'm stuck here. I don't know what to do. At some point it was like I should at some point there was a task that came in, and then I had to use Power Apps. I think that was my first introduction to Power Apps, and I got really stuck. I couldn't go to him. I was scared that, okay, my boss is not supposed to know I don't know this thing. I mean, this is a job. I'm supposed to just deliver. And then I would go hours on YouTube just checking what videos is going to help me out with this task and all of that. But when I realized that that is not the best way of doing things, I decided to be bold. I would walk up to him and sincerely ask for help. I would ask questions. Okay, I'm stuck here. I've done this to this level. And then I was very shocked, or let me say surprised, when he picks up the system and then begin to lecture me like the way Alan Chai does to Georgia. So ask questions, sincerely ask for help. Strategically make yourself visible, because there's no point knowing these things and not make yourself visible. In fact, like I like to use myself as an example. If I had not had that rethink, if I had not made myself visible, maybe I wouldn't be speaking to you today. Maybe you won't be seeing me on a flyer with Donna and Sarah and the likes. I felt really honored. Thank you for that. Make yourself visible. So many people out there, especially in Lagos, they know a lot. Most ladies, they are really, really good when it comes to tech, but we don't know them. Nobody hears their name. They are just in the corner of their room doing their thing. They are just being good to themselves. So strategically make yourself visible. And one way to do that is join the community. Be active. Just be active. And then exactly, join the community. So the community I was talking about earlier was Power Apps user group. And now the TechStyler is here. This is all just for ladies. And then you don't have to feel like you are competing, or somebody will start making you feel like you don't know, because these guys are a guru. Sometimes when I sit down with some of them, I feel intimidated, like, oh, these guys know a lot. But now TechStylers is just going to be us, we ladies, learning and teaching each other. And I want to really connect with you after this inaugural session. So I hope that we are going to come together, build really amazing apps and great projects. And I want to learn of your story too. I want to learn from your story, hear of your story and learn from it, like you've learned from Donna's, Georgia, Sarah, and the likes. So I want you to join the community TechStylers. Foyin shared the link, or she's going to share it again. I want you to join and then get active, really get active. And then lastly, don't think you're not good enough. Don't think so. I thought so. And in fact, sometimes when I just check my progress so far from work, I'm really amazed at myself. And in fact, needless to say, I got promoted at work also. So please, you're good enough. And even if you think you don't know enough, there's room to learn. There's room for growth. There's room for learning. And here is this community. It's free. You're gonna learn. You're gonna, just be yourself, and you're going to get materials, videos, documents that you probably not see online, or will take you hours to find online. Because when I finally joined the community, and then when I when I get some task at work, I just chat on the group. Okay, I need to do this. How can I fix this? And immediately I get answers, and boom, I've done it, and everything's sorted out. So never think you're not good enough. There's room for learning. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abigail. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, so Abigail's story is also a story that inspires me. Because I remember when she joined the community, and she was a bit not very, she didn't really want to come to the front. She just wanted to do her thing, doing social media stuff at the back. And then I started the Global Power. I said, you're speaking at the Global Power Platform Bootcamp, and you don't have a choice. And I was so amazed at how well she performed. So that's the thing. Just do the thing, like Donna said. Do the thing, and when you do it, you can never tell how big it's going to get, right? When I started off the Nigeria Power Apps community, I just went on Dynamics community and applied to be a user group leader. And I was so surprised when my application was approved. And then we started from 2 to 4 to 6 to 10. And we literally started to grow like that. Yeah. So do the thing, whatever it is, do it and be very active in the community. Like Alison has said, the Power Platform community is a big family, right? I've never experienced so much love. Like when I met Donna for the first time, and I just went to Twitter and I saw so many mentions of me, so many, like everyone was just saying, welcome on board, we're happy to have you, we're here to support you. I'm like, wow. And they're not just saying it, they actually, I can't count, like I was on a call with Vivek for help, with Alan, with Georgia, with everyone is very happy to help you and to take out from their busy schedule to help you to solve your whatever challenges you have. And that's why we have TechStylers, right? Because we're thinking, sorry. So we have TechStylers for the ladies. So we feel that, okay, in the larger community, the ladies may not really say, oh, it's a guy, it's a men's thing. So that's not why now we have TechStylers, and it's all about the ladies, right? So I'm going to put you on the spot, take a session, speak to us, and from there it starts to gain your confidence. So once you can speak to us, yes, we're all ladies, so it's okay. If you don't do very well or you miss a few lines, it's fine. But then you can use us as the guinea pigs and practice. And then you get very good at it, and your confidence level is increased, and then you can speak at larger conferences and bigger audiences. So that's one of the things that we want to do. We want to create that visibility for you as a lady in tech. Thank you so much, Abigail.
Thank you.
Yes, next up, we have Eliza.
Hi.
All the way from New Zealand. She was up at 5:30 a.m. during this call.
Now the sun is out.
Yes, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, and she's a rock star. Like I saw her at MS Build, and after I watched her, I started telling people, oh my God, there was this amazing lady at Embas. This amazing lady at Embas. She was so calm and she speaks so well. Wow, I wish I could speak.
I was terrified inside. I was very terrified inside.
And she was so composed. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you. I'm hoping everyone can hear me and can see my screen. So I'll start my slides. Let me just switch this over. Okay, so welcome, good morning from New Zealand. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can contribute to the Microsoft community. So I'm going to share my journey with you all, and hopefully this will inspire you to start blogging or jumping on YouTube or even participating in forums or hackathons. And before we get into this, I just want to make sure that everyone's joining the conversation on Twitter. We are on the last run for today. This is home run, and I'm very excited to be talking with you all. So if you do want to jump on Twitter or on LinkedIn, feel free to mention me. I'm fine with that, and make sure you use the hashtag TechStylers, please, so that we can help and continue to grow this awesome group of ladies. Okay, so what to expect. I will talk about my story. I'm going to share my equipment and platforms that I use with you all. I'm going to share what others in our Microsoft community use. I'm going to talk to you about other inspirational angles and the other options for contributing if you don't want to blog or start a YouTube channel. And then I'm going to share who else to follow and my final last words for you all to take in today. So a bit of me. I am Filipino. I am a daughter to two immigrants. So my mom and my dad moved from the Philippines to the United Arab Emirates, and that's where I was born. I spent the 90s there, and I've lived around the world as well. But as of today, I now work and live in New Zealand, which I consider my home. My background is in Microsoft Dynamics 365, Power Apps Portals, and Power Automate. And I'm an animal lover. So over on the right-hand side on the screen is what we call a quokka. So a quokka is this little cute animal in the island of Rottnest Island over in Perth. And I had the chance to take a selfie with one last year. And so this is one of my favorite photos of all time. And because I love animals, I'm plant-based. And Alison and Donna, who are on this call, are also plant-based as well. So that's something if you didn't know already. Okay, so in terms of my story, this is me in 2009. So this is Eliza from back in the day when I started with a company here in New Zealand, and this was at the boot camp. So back then, I didn't know anything about the Microsoft stack. The only things that I knew about the Microsoft stack was things like Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, and Excel, because those were Microsoft related programs that I had used in my school and university years. And it was only when I joined the corporate world, that's when I learned of what we call enterprise solutions or applications, which is also termed as cloud solutions. So in 2009, I didn't know any of that. And today I have a world of knowledge in my brain. And back in 2013, so what happened was 4 years later, yes, when I started working, I took a step and moved over to another country, and I was away from my family. It was something that terrified me, but I was also excited because I wanted to learn more outside of New Zealand with the hope of coming back one day to New Zealand and share my knowledge with the people I work with as well as the clients. And so this is the difference in terms of the countries. So the blue dot is where I live and reside today and where I started my career. And then I moved to another country, so in a city called Melbourne. And so I was there for 6 years, well, over 6 years. And then I moved back home to New Zealand last year. And so what I'm trying to aim for now that I'm back home is to try and raise the profile of us Kiwis and New Zealanders over here, because a lot of New Zealanders are very shy. They don't really want to come out of their shell. And so I'm hoping that I can help them come out of their shell. So yeah, watch this space. So in my time in Australia, this photo is of my work colleagues who I last worked with whose name is Elaine and Lisa Crosby. Both happen to be Microsoft MVPs, and they're also awesome, so make sure you follow them. So in my time when I was in Australia, I felt like I had knowledge that I wanted to share, but I didn't know how to share it. And I thought of YouTube because I watch a lot of YouTube. I follow people on YouTube, but not necessarily tech bloggers. It's more like, how to make meals, how to make smoothies, how to self-love, all those things, but outside of tech. And so I was like, oh, well, how about I join YouTube? How about I share my knowledge and make videos, because I'm more comfortable on camera and showing people how to do things. Because when I was at university, I used to be a tutor, so I was very comfortable having that conversation with people and students that I didn't necessarily know straight away. And at the time, back in 2013/2014, a lot of the videos that you saw on YouTube were recorded webinars or events, but not necessarily how-to style of videos, which is what I wanted to do. And I put it aside for, I don't know, probably about a year, because I had that whole self-sabotage thing that Abigail was talking about, thinking, oh, but there's so many other people and YouTube creators who have amazing content in the tech space. How am I going to make a different, impact, or how am I going to stand out? And the one person that actually reached out to me, his name is Ben Hosking. So he's based in the UK. One day I randomly commented on a post of his on LinkedIn because he posted a video of himself doing bloopers. And I said, something like, haha, I've always wanted to vlog, but I don't have the confidence to do so. And then he actually connected with me on the side on LinkedIn, and then said, hey, I think if you want to do it, you should do it. So he gave me pointers. And the one thing that he said that has stuck with me today, which I tell everyone, is the hardest part of starting is starting. Like, get all of that noise outside of your head, thinking that I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Because you know what? You can do it. You have to change that mentality and believe that you can. And so I did do it. And so this is my very first video. So from this screenshot, I'm filming in the office on a weekend. So this was filmed, I believe, either on the Saturday or Sunday. And this was actually in my boss's office. He said I could use his office. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. And the audio isn't that great, but at the end of the day, when you are filming for a YouTube video, or even, a podcast or a Teams meeting right now, you don't need to have the greatest and latest equipment. You can have any equipment that you have right now, whether it's the laptop webcam or whether it's just the mic from your laptop. That's fine, because I started with hardly anything, which I'll show you next. And, to this day, this video has over 4,000 views. And even though the audio is not that great, it's still good. And that's because it's the content. Your content is key. If you are knowledgeable in something and you are passionate and you want to share it, go for it. Like, don't be scared. Let this be an inspiration to you. And so while I did my vlog as well, I also complemented it with a blog post, because that's something that Ben said would be good. So your videos will be for people who can watch them. And then if people want to either learn more from the video or prefer to do the reading, they've got a blog post to fall back on. And so I have a blog as well. And then to this day, that is the number of views that I've had. So this all started back in 2014, over 6 years ago now. So if I can do it, you can do it. You can do it. Just say it with me, I can do it. So in terms of my equipment and platform, it's so simple and it's very easy to set up. So this is my webcam that I used for the last 6 and a bit years. So can you see it? Can you see it? This is one of my best friends of my life, because this is all I use to film and do my audio. And I learned over time that filming with this webcam is not so bad. It's just a matter of trying to minimize the noise around you if you could. And so that's why I was filming in the office, because the apartment I was living in Melbourne was quite noisy. It was by a highway. And so I just went to the office on the weekends and filmed, and my company was fine with that. So I used this webcam up until the end of last year. I did use Microsoft Expression Encoder initially for my videos. It's free, but I think if you go over the 10 minutes, that's when it'll stop, because it's only free up to 10. So then eventually my company was supportive, and they said that they will provide me with a Camtasia license. And that's what I started using, because over time my videos became longer than 10 minutes. So I'm very grateful for my company back then for supporting me. So this is my choice of a platform for blogging. It is free. It is associated to Google. So if you have a Google account today, you could set this up in 5 minutes. I swear, it's so easy. And they have new modern templates and a new modern editor for Blogger. Some people don't use Blogger because you can't associate your own name to it. And back then I wasn't sure if I was going to continue with this, so I didn't want to put my money into, you know, something that I wasn't entirely sure of, and that's why I chose Blogger. And for me, I don't really want to move away from it just because it suits me. I don't have a desire to go to another blogging platform just yet. And then in terms of my actual equipment today, so over on the left-hand side is an upgraded webcam version that I'm using right now, but I still have this guy because I can't really part with it because we go a long way back. But if I do meet one of you one day, I might just give this to you so that you can start your journey as well. And in the middle is the microphone that I use, but I only use this when I do recordings. I do not use this for Teams meeting. It is purely for recording purposes. And on the right hand side, I got a ring light when I was told that I was going to present for MBAS. So that was only because it was going to be in the early hours of the morning and I needed to make sure that I have enough lighting. So I'm just going to quickly go through what others in our Microsoft community use. So these are the other blogging platforms. They do have a cost associated. So just to be clear about that, GoDaddy on the left-hand side is an option for grabbing your own domain and hosting it on there. And then in terms of doing their screen recordings, if they are doing videos, here are the different options. So you've got Microsoft Teams, you've got Movavi, you've got Camtasia, Snagit, and then over on the right-hand side, you've got OBS on the top right and Adobe Premiere. And then one of the ones that are free, and I hope Megan Walker has now joined the call, this is something that she's used. So you could go and check it out. And I'm sure if you did a tweet to her on Twitter, she'd be able to answer any questions that you would have. In terms of audio, again, it ranges from having an actual mic, a headset, or this one is used for conference calls. So I did try in the past, so this is years ago when I did live in Melbourne, use the conference speaker as well. That actually works. So if your office has a conference speaker, you know, try use that as your mic as well if you don't want to use a webcam or your laptop. So that's another option in terms of using what you have around you rather than going out there and buying the latest and greatest, because like I said, your content is a lot more important than your equipment. And so if that's not enough, I wanted to share some other inspirational things with you. So the first one is Bailey. So Bailey is another person from Microsoft. Donna may know her, so go ahead and watch this video on YouTube for some further inspiration. And I have this YouTube channel on here because I also want to point out, if you don't know anything about the Power Platform, but you do know something else and you do want to blog about it or do videos in it, go for it. So this is a great YouTube channel that has videos on PowerPoint, because you might think PowerPoint's not really tech. Yes, it is. It's a software. It's a program that we use that Microsoft has created. And there's other people out there who are producing content on their YouTube channel to help people get better PowerPoint skills. So you could start with something small. So if you are fantastic with Microsoft Word or Excel or something random like Paint and want to help Donna's Paint skills out, and you want to blog about it or do videos in it, go for it, because it is your content. And if you want to do that, then you should do it. Don't be pressured by other people in the Microsoft community because they're doing vlogs on enterprise solutions or cloud solutions. If you want to move into a different space, such as targeting personal programs or software applications like PowerPoint, then you could do that as well. Another person that is really inspirational, who you should all check out, which I've included in this slide, is David Kellerman. David Kellerman is from the University of New South Wales, Sydney. So he completely transformed his students' learning experience using Microsoft Teams and Office 365. There is a video as well available on this webpage if you do want to check it out. So it's another role model in our community who didn't necessarily have an association with Microsoft, but he saw the values and the benefits that the technologies could bring to his students. And it's a really, really awesome story. So this is something that you do have to check out as well. Okay, and then the last one that I want to go through is, obviously there are people in this call who speak more than one language, and another Microsoft MVP in our community is Julian. He also goes by the name Sierra Croissant, which I think is quite cute. So he blogs in his own language, which is French. So if you are more comfortable with a different language other than English, go for it, because don't think blogging in English is going to have a major advantage compared to blogging in your own language. There are so many community members around the world today who blog in their own language, and it is successful in their country or in other countries that speak the same language. So if you are more comfortable blogging in your own language other than English, go for it, because you could still make an impact on your colleagues and peers and local community where you reside and work. Okay, so other options for contributing. There are community-driven events as well. So there's hackathons. We had one earlier this month for Microsoft Business Application Summit. There are Saturday events. So we have upcoming, these were past Saturday events, and these are upcoming Saturday events. Usually there will be like a call for paper if you do want to present. Otherwise, if you do want to attend, then you can simply sign up and register for them. There's also events that run multiple days. So we just had the Microsoft 365 virtual marathon, which was pretty good. We had speakers all over the world. But again, if you want to speak, you can register, but if you want to attend, you can attend as well to get some more inspiration and learn as well. We also have what we call community sites in the Microsoft stack. So this one is for Power Automate, and another one that is available is Dynamics 365. So you can jump in there and answer questions that people have asked. And that's the whole point of these community sites, is if you get stuck, you can ask a question, and if someone knows the question or is trying to help you out, they'll come in and answer as well. And that's another way of how you can contribute to the Microsoft community. And if not the Microsoft community, there may be something else online that you want to help out in. So I'm going to share with you who other accounts that you should follow. So the first one on the left is Tay. Tay is based in Australia, and she only started blogging this year in April. She is someone who I think will be an upcoming star, so make sure you check her out. Next, we have Tamara Klink. So Tamara is not a Microsoft person at all. She's actually from the Salesforce world. She actually has a women's only podcast where she interviews and talks to women from all walks of life. It doesn't have to necessarily be in STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and maths. She has really good female role models in her podcast. So I recommend that you go follow her and listen to it. Next, we have Indira, who is based here in New Zealand. She is teaching kids in her area how to code. So that's something else that is inspirational. And then one of the new accounts that was released this month is Power Apps for Kids. So that's by Rory. Yes, Rory over the UK. So again, he's taken on board that initiative to help grow the younger generation and be involved in tech. So my final last words from this session is to just be yourself and surround yourself with people who get what you're doing, who love what you're doing, and you will feel rewarded every day. There were times where I have personally felt alone or frustrated or doing the whole self-doubt thing. But as soon as I reach out to people around the world, so Sarah's in here, I hope Megan's in the call. She's someone who I've been talking to lately as well. And it just helps boost your confidence and helps you, feel less about yourself and actually think, you know what, I'm actually okay. I'm doing well. And if you open yourself to the community, then the community will help you in return, whether it's with a technology related problem or a personal problem. There are people who I've connected with in the last 2 years who I now call my good friends. So just be yourself. And if yourself is not enough for the people around you, we are all online and we are here to help you. You can do whatever you want in terms of the blogging, the vlogging, or participating in forums or in hackathons. We have your back, okay? So it's fine. All right, so that's all I had to say. Follow me on Twitter. I also have a YouTube channel. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can. My only ask is that you leave a comment because I tend to ignore the ones that don't have a comment, but yeah. So thank you, Foyen, for having me. And can we have a round of applause for everyone who has spoken today? Thank you.
Wow, thank you so
I'm
much.
going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I learned a lot from it. I personally don't blog.
Yeah.
I've always wished I could, but I just feel it requires some special abilities.
Oh,
so
no.
Now that you've made it so simple, I think I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to do the thing. Yes, I'll try. And once I feel I'm stuck, I'm going to reach out to you. Say, hey, I'm getting stuck now. I need some help. So yes, thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Foyen.
Yes, and like you said, the community is I've had an amazing experience. It's like having a family. You have, like, when I did my presentation, I reached out to someone in our community. I said, okay, come take a look. And he was asking questions, scrutinizing, okay, I think this should come first. I think you're missing this out. So you actually establish very strong friendships and relationships from the community. And they're like, that's the place of, like, we're all your fans. We're here to cheer you. We're here to support you. So please don't stay all by yourself, right? Community is here. Get involved. Be active. There are loads of speaking engagements.
Yes,
so
there is.
That will give you a lot of visibility.
Yeah, because we also have Sarah on the call. So Sarah organizes like a user group in Vancouver, but all of us, including Alison, of course, we know people. So if you do want to speak, just let us know and we'll get you on there. And don't worry, we will have your back when you speak, when it's your first time. It's okay. We will be there.
Yes. Thank you. All right, so it's time for our questions. I don't know if anyone has any questions in the group. Ladies, you've listened to us for 2 whole hours. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying true. Thank you. So now it's time for us to listen to you. and answer any of the questions that you have across all the slides. Just unmute your mic and we're here to we're here to listen. So who's going first? Ask questions, don't self-sabotage.
I will keep giving you all homework if you don't ask questions. So here's one. Next month, someone in this community who has not done stuff with Power Platform and showed it should plan to do a demo. Yep. I think next month will be like Geeta, who leads a community, Megan leads a community, but there's 26 of you who don't do things in the Power Platform community out loud. So one of you, at least one, maybe like 4, are going to do a demo, and you see this as a safe group, friendly group. We want to see it and we want to cheer you on. So consider yourself voluntold, and we know who's here. It's not like it's a secret, so we will find you. Just saying.
Okay, thank you. That's great. So get ready for a demo next time we meet. So one of you has to reach out to me. Everyone has my email because I used it to send out the invite. So you have to reach out to me saying, I want to do this, right? Yes, I can see Victoria. So a lot of people are going to get ready for this. Thank you for that, Donna.
How often are you going to be doing these?
Yes, so the plan is, my plan is to have monthly meetups, but with in between the months, I think we're gonna have introductories, like introductions to the different stacks we spoke about. So for the ladies that are just starting out in tech and they don't really know where to start, I'm thinking we're gonna have sessions for them. It could be 30-minute sessions. Okay, we have one on Power Apps, Power Automate, and Dynamics, customer engagement, the different things that we have, Microsoft Teams, and then they can make a decision to say, I would like to major in this area. So once that decision is made, we would have focus sessions. So all the people that want to learn the Power Platform, we focus on them. The guys that want to do Dynamics, we have focus sessions for them. Those that want to know more about the modern workplace tools, cloud computing, like that. But the general session will hold once a month. So we're looking at maybe the last weekend in June for another general session. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Please ask questions. Ladies, we're all ladies here. Even if you don't say it properly, you would.
Yeah, come off mute, and if you want to turn on your webcams and we can all say hi.
I have another question, but I'm not turning on my camera because I literally just got out of bed because I was in bed and I was looking on Twitter and I saw it. I was like, oh crap. So then my question is related to that because I don't feel like I really knew that it was going to be going on. And maybe that's my fault for just not paying attention, or there's too much noise out there. So it's, it was easy to miss. What's the best way to know what's going on and how to get involved and when the next one's going to be?
I have a suggestion there. As you're doing it as an online event, Chris Huntingford has a central repository called the Virtual Events Hub. So it's worth sending the link to him when you have the date for the next one and a link to the meeting, and he'll put it on there because a lot of people have been using the Virtual Events Hub to find online events, if that helps.
Thank you so much. I'll reach out to him. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Okay, I'm sorry I wouldn't put on my video because the lighting is not so good where I am. So my question is, how do I put it? Okay, basically about Power Platform. For now, I work as a business analyst. I use a lot of Excel and all that. I recently started learning Power BI. but I was at the last the Global Power Platform event here in Lagos, and so I picked interest in Power Platform and everything. But the point is, so the first time I learned Power BIs and some other data analytics packages, I had to learn Python, and then I was told maybe I would have to learn R and some other programming languages. So I picked up Python and I did a bit of it, but I find that I don't enjoy writing codes at all. It's not that I can't do it, but it's not something that I enjoy. So when I heard about Power Platforms and they're like, oh, you don't have to write codes, you just make use of some maybe already written codes and all of that, that was why I was very interested in it. But somehow I find that most of the people I see around that are using Power Platform, they have some kind of background in writing codes. For example, Abigail and even Foyin. So I still have this worry that, am I sure that in the end, I'm not still going to have to be writing codes? And every time I get excited about Power Platform, I'm just like, hope it's not that I'll get in and they'll tell me, oh, okay, you just need to write some bit of code, or you just need to, or because it's not like I can't do it. I just don't enjoy sitting in front of a screen and writing lines and lines and lines of code. So I just wanted some sort of maybe clarification, or just I just feel like it would also help me to prepare my mind if I know that, okay, you write a bit of code but not so much, or you're still going to write so much, or all of that. So that's about my question.
I think that's up to really, I think it's up to the individual as to
Okay,
whether
so
they want to write the code. So for me, I'm not a developer at all, and I've never written any code, and I feel like I've been fairly successful within the past few years, well, longer, but like in terms of being out in the community. So I think it takes all sorts, it takes all kinds of people. Some people will get really, really excited and giddy about writing code, and that's awesome. And then there's people that can do it like yourself but just don't want to. So I think don't feel that you have to fall into any specific bucket. You can kind of make your own path, and if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. I think as simple as that.
thank you so much, Megan. Olenka, I don't write codes. I'm not a developer. This point speaking, I'm not a developer. I've never written a single line of code, and I think I've done fairly well also with the Power Platform. So I thought I should let you know I don't know how to write code. I don't write code.
Okay, thank you. I think that's some good comfort for me.
How I
And
describe
see how
to
from here.
how I describe it to the people that I'm actually coaching within the company who are not people in IT, not IT, is people in the health, safety, and environment function. So nothing to do with coding, never used any kind of software tools. But they see the value because they are working with Excel files like you do. So how I describe the Power Apps, for example, is you have your PowerPoint screen where you drag and drop things, and then you have your Excel formulas where you tell what these things will do. Is that simple? This is the only thing you need. If you want to go into coding, then you can start digging, but you don't actually need it with Power Apps.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Yinka, thank you so much for breaking the ice. Okay, up next is Nadine. She has a question. Please go ahead.
Hello. Shall I share my screen or something? I'm not so sure. Hello. Am I audible?
We can hear you.
Yeah. Hey. Hi. So I just wanted to ask you that lately I am a third year student, and lately I have been facing rejections. Yes, and it's sometimes hard to keep up with being consistent and actually continuing working for it and not giving up on it. So yeah, I am not so much of a good coder. I am a beginner, but I really want to know that how were you so consistent? Must have had failures too, and you must have had worked so hard to be here. So how are you so consistent about working hard and doing what you do?
Okay, who's taking that?
Money is a motivation too.
So for me, it was a long journey, I would say, and the help of the team I was in, it was the key to keep the consistency on training, right? Because you need to train yourself on many things on the job. It's not that I knew what I was doing, not at all, and I'm still having times that I don't know what I'm doing, but you get the I would say the confidence to start doing things on your own while you're on the job. You don't have that before you start. So I would say just keeping your mind, keep positive thinking, and give what you have to what you do. If you like it, you will get to that point.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Nandi, I can relate. So that company I had joined back in 2009, they were only hiring programmers from university in that year because that was what the market was like back then. And for me, in terms of being able to work with that company, when I did the interviews for that boot camp, so that photo that I shared, I was still myself, and they still liked my personality, even though I was terrible at the actual, tests and, technical questions. I did bad, and I told them I'm not a coder, which they knew, but they still wanted to have me on board in the team because they saw what I was like in person, and they're like, well, she doesn't necessarily know how to code, but I'm sure we'll find something for her. And I'm very grateful for that company to this day. And if you do want to, I suppose, stand out, which is something that I didn't think of back then, is if you want to share whatever you've learned, and you can start off with something easy. When I say something easy, as in something that you don't have to pay for, is are you on LinkedIn? So on LinkedIn, there's this thing called LinkedIn articles, where you can essentially write anything that you want. So if you want to treat that as a stepping stone to sharing your knowledge, that's fine as well. So Lisa Crosby, who is another person in our community who's based in Australia, she actually started writing on LinkedIn using LinkedIn articles. So that's something that you can do. And so that way, when your future employer or whoever you're interviewing with checks you on LinkedIn, they'll see that you've written some content, and they'll be like, oh, Nandini actually knows her stuff. Okay, maybe we should give her a shot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really encouraging. I'll do that. I'll definitely do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Love that. It's such good advice Eliza has on building her personal brand. The other thing that helps me a lot is having a textable tribe. So that's other people who you can text, who will text you and who will kick your ass. So I need people to not be nice to me, but I need them to kick my ass. Okay. So, your understanding friends who are like, that's okay. You missed your deadline. There's always next week. I'm like, no. I need the friend who's like, that's nice. You're going to do it. Like, set the timer, you're doing it now, and they will kick your ass if you don't. So find a friend, and I'm sure you have this person, right, in your life, and set a common goal. Say each of us are going to learn how to build a Power App and attach it to SharePoint or CDS or whatever in the next, and don't give yourself long goals like 2 weeks, in the next 6 hours. And at the end of 6 hours, we're going to demo it. And if we don't, you're a loser. So just do it. Just set short-term goals and kick each other's ass. And it works so well because you don't want to show up looking like a fool, right? So you'll do it. Happy birthday, by the way. Sorry to yell at you on your birthday. So that's one. Yeah. I mean, I'm not actually sorry at all because I'm smiling and you can tell I'm not sorry. But so that's one. Get a textable tribe, kick each other's ass. And second, set a goal, like a public facing goal. Like, I'm going to demo my first power project at the blah thing at next month's thing. So you have 30 days to build something and like show it to people. Once you set a public facing goal, you will hit your goal because you don't want to look like a fool, right? We're very motivated by not looking stupid. So just do it. It's my hack. I'm like, I want to learn mixed reality and AI builder. I'll put myself down to speak. Oh, I will learn it. Because I won't learn it by myself, but I will learn it to not look like an idiot in front of all of you. Just do it. It works.
Thank you so much, Sona. That will definitely work for me. I'm really sure that will work for me. I am that kind of person who needs harassment when it comes to work. Yeah. Thank you.
And also, Nandini, and happy birthday again, by the way.
Thank you.
There's a power app that you could build that would be a habit tracker, and you could put all of the habits that you need to do about writing your blog, doing LinkedIn content, whatever it is that you want to do. Just build an app as a habit tracker. There you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's a great idea. That's my first step.
Yay.
Thank you so much for answering this question. I'm really glad that I've joined this call, and thank you, Donna, for actually getting this on. I must be inspired to join this up. I'm really glad to be here and to have a company of you, such inspirational people. I'm so thankful to you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for asking the question. Thank you for joining the session, and thank you for listening through. You know, this shows that you're determined to become a better version of you, and I believe you're on the right path already to doing that.
Thank you so much. Means a lot.
Happy birthday also.
Thank you.
So
we have
Oluwase has a question. Oluwase is asking, what do you do when you work in network or cybersecurity? How does Power Platform help you? These are great suggestions on the side, but there's another one. Education. So you know how no one actually knows what cybersecurity is, and no one knows if their password is good, and no one knows like if they should be connecting to public Wi-Fi, etc. You should make a chatbot, a Power Virtual Agent. So just think of all of the questions everyone asks you all the time, make a chatbot, publish it, and suddenly it's like cybersecurity friend that you can ask all of your questions to. So Oluwase, you already know all the questions everyone asks you because they keep asking you. Write them down and then make a chatbot out of it. Just search for PVA, Power Virtual Agent. You'll find how to do it. It's my husband. He's like, hi, say hi to the ladies. It's like, nope. So you should totally make a cybersecurity chatbot. I would love to use it because I also have no clue if this is a good password or not.
Thank you so much. I think another area could also be data, like building dashboards for relevant information. So what are the things that you monitor like every day and that needs to be in people's faces? You can build a dashboard for that, where you can see how your hubs, how your hubs are doing and what's going on in different locations, what location is down. So I think that would also help. Okay. Do we have any more questions? I'm not sure that any more questions in the chat box. All right. If we have no more questions, I think we can call it a day. Thank you so much for joining. I've had so much fun. I've learned so much from every one of us. And like, this is just the beginning. We're just starting off. We're going to have an amazing time. So all we need for us is to join the Telegram group. I'm going to drop the link again so we can continue, keep the conversations going. Yep, just dropping the link here again.
I think there is a hand up.
That's Uchechuku Francisca.
Oh, okay. I'm missing that. I'm not sure whose hand is it. Please go ahead. Okay, Uche.
Yes.
Francisca, please. Sorry, apologies. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. It has really been fantastic here. Thank you so much. So my question is, okay, I didn't get Donna's first assignment. Donna's first assignment, I didn't get it. I asked in the chat box, but I didn't get a reply.
Okay. Donna, what was your first homework? Donna's still there. Okay, I think her first assignment was for you to go to aka.ms/powerup and learn something new. When you learn something new, then you teach it to someone else. So it's I'll put the link on the chat box.
Okay, that would be nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so thank you so much. Special thanks to our speakers, Alison.
Thank you,
Georgia,
everyone.
Sarah, Donna, Abby, and Eliza. Thank you for taking our time to speak to us.
Abigail, your
Thank
nails
you.
are awesome, by the way.
Thank you for the comments.
They match George's color.
I made them. I made myself.
As in her top.
Yeah, we were all standing your nail polish in the comments. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Georgia,
See you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.